Heyo.
Hey, you made it.
Hey. Welcome. Oh my
No way.
gosh. It's Joe and
You're
I
welcome.
together on the same show.
Dude, we got both of us.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It hasn't happened in forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's scary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared. I'm scared of what this means for everybody.
Me too. Yeah, sorry the internet is still being a little bit weird on Discord for every once in a while. Joe's voice goes brrrr, but it's he's still very understandable, so just bear with it and it'll go away.
And be ununderstandable. Ununderstandable. It's
Ununderstandable.
probably not understandable. Who knows English better than me? Probably all of you.
I don't know, man. I don't. I invent words all the time. I invent spellings as
Maybe.
well, which
I will ununderstand.
ununderstand, which is when you re-understand.
Is that when that happens?
I think so. When you when you ununderstand is when you wait. Well, no, hold on.
We
Understand. It's when
understand.
you readerstand. That's ununderstand is the same as readerstand.
Readerstand?
Yeah, which
Oh
is
yeah, I'm community apparently.
oh shoot, Joe. What are you being community for? I mean, you are community, so
I'm the
that's
community,
accurate.
man. I am
You
the
are.
community.
You are the community, man. All
Hmm.
right, well, I'll change you to Joe, I guess. Just give me a moment. Do you want to be Joe or do you want to be community?
Listen, hey, you can make me Katie. I don't. Hey, whatever.
Katie, that's still on here. Yeah. No, actually, hold on.
I'm sure it is.
Nope, that's not on here for me anymore. Nope.
Oh, it's
I
not.
still have
Okay.
Steve. Um,
So you got on
oh no, I
there.
do have Kita. Yeah, I do have
Yeah.
Katie. Yeah. I just my eyes went right past it because it's not the normal spelling.
For those of you who don't know, Katie was Steve's wife at the time. It's now his ex-wife, and
Mm-hmm.
they did some Don't Worry Wednesdays together with us.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Princess.
You are not princess. It says Joe.
Um, don't I look like a princess?
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, sure. Sure.
I mean, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I go to Steve's, I sleep like a princess because I sleep in his daughter's bed. I'm by myself. His daughter's not there. Like she's her mom's, right? And so I sleep there. And he's
Didn't
got
even
it all
cross my mind, but
tricked
I could
out.
see why you'd want to make that disclaimer.
I had to
Yeah.
make sure I make that distinction, right?
Yes.
So like, but anyway, so he's got the whole room decked out like princess
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like I'm Snow White or something, when I
You feel like you're gonna fall asleep and never wake up until you get a kiss from your one true prince.
that would be Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah. Oh, which one's Snow
I
White?
don't
She has the
remember
seven
what happened.
dwarfs.
Snow White had the dwarves. She had the seven dwarves.
What was her deal?
I'm the prettiest princess. What? I don't remember Snow White's deal.
Didn't she have it made? I mean, she had literally seven dwarf men working
I'm sure there
to
was
hold the house
probably
for
a
her.
prince involved.
Yeah, Snow White was a kiss too. Okay, cats, if you know the story, why was that necessary? Like, wasn't she just happy? Like, she had seven dwarf companions that, like, cut down trees, did the fire, did the dishes, did the cooking. Like, she had it made.
All of it.
I guess she
I
was.
know.
What went wrong?
Well,
Where
they
was a
were
prince
dwarfs,
needed?
right?
Huh?
They were dwarves.
Oh, yeah, I guess they were dwarfs, so. Yeah, I guess the romance was just not there. She was waiting for that. Depends on which Snow White you're looking
Depends
at.
on which
Okay.
Snow White. All right.
Moonlit, thank you for stopping by. Sorry, we started a little bit late, but I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day slash evening. And thank you, Miyamoto. I'm currently in Australia. This is my setup for one stream before we change it all again. But it looks nice. It's cool. I got a
Yeah, it
little
does.
detective, and then tsundere plushie on the market if you want to buy.
Mm-hmm.
And my owl, a little bunny. It's great. A little cloud guy. Cute.
Mm-hmm. You got all that stuff, man. You got
Mm-hmm.
all the cool stuff.
I got all the cool stuff.
Man, I just live in my mushroom forest and
Dude, that's pretty
it's
cool. That's pretty cool. You get
good.
iridescent mushrooms and everything. Yeah. Oh, you had a whole class where you investigated fairy tale and origins, so you could lecture on and on. Oh, that's awesome.
We
Go
could do
for it.
that for the show.
Yeah, just come on here. You can teach us, and we'll step out. No, I'm kidding. I think we should probably actually do. Don't worry, Wednesday, especially since we finally have the two of us together again.
Together again, the
Mm-hmm.
dynamic duo like Barbie and Ken. Except, well, not really actually that. Um,
I'll be Barbie, I guess. Got the
I
long
mean,
hair.
you've got the long blonde hair,
That's
right?
right. I'll be that. I'm okay with that.
Right.
Yes, that's hijack. Yeah. Yeah.
Fry. I dare you.
To sing the song.
No, to hijack BSS.
Oh, I thought you were daring me to sing Barbie Girl or something. I was like, what? Well, all right. How about we do Don't Worry Wednesday? I'm gonna
I think that's a great idea.
yeah, I'm just gonna do the show intro. Sorry I didn't even do it. Welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday. This is a show where we talk about the issues and the struggles and the problems you guys are going through, or whatever's on your mind. Anything philosophical. Wow, that's not how you pronounce it, or theological, or whatever you want. Um, in life, we do have problems. We have struggles, and we work through them hopefully together. That's why we're here. We're here to give a helping hand as friends. We aren't professional psychologists or psychiatrists or anything along those lines. Wow, I'm tripping over my tongue a lot today.
Mm.
But
It's because of the
hopefully,
time difference.
yeah, it's a time difference. Hopefully,
You're not used to doing this show in the early morning.
well, I am relatively used to doing the show right after I wake up, but not in the early morning. It's always at night.
True. True.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're
All right.
just.
Anyway,
I'm
sorry.
really
I
happy to
didn't
be
mean to
here.
interrupt your introduction.
This is great. Yeah, no, this is totally good. I got through everything I needed to. We're not professional psychologists or psychiatrists, so that's a disclaimer. If you want to submit a topic, please go to don'tworrywednesday.com, just like Mialado excellently posted in the chat for us. Thanks, Mialado. You're awesome. That's don'tworrywednesday.com. No apostrophe for between the N and T and don't, or else you won't get any kind of web page. Yeah, that's right. I am live from Australia, and Joe lives in the United States. That's correct. So we're literally on the opposite side of the world from each other at the moment. Even the hemispheres changed. I'm not in the upper hemisphere like most of the world. I'm in the southern hemisphere, so it's kind of different. It's
Yeah.
just coming out of winter for me, and it's going to be going into winter for Joe. So,
Which is my favorite. Actually, no, it's not my favorite. The coming season right now is my favorite. Fall.
oh yeah. Too bad that only lasts like a week in,
Mhm.
in Michigan.
I know, but that's okay. I'm fine
But
with that. I'll
yeah,
take it.
your favorite
Whatever,
week.
whatever
That's why
amount
it's so good.
of fall I can do. It was actually really, really gorgeous today. I can tell, like, because of the way the sun goes across the sky, that the shadows are a little bit different. So I know summer is ending, which is awesome because
Hmm.
summer is like my nemesis.
Oh
It's
really?
so hot and it's disgusting.
I like it.
Yeah. And so yeah, I mean, it's been fairly mild. And now that I've figured out, some stuff to do in the summer, like kayaking and all that kind of stuff, it's not so bad because I can go out there and it's actually, and I can like be in the water where it's cooler, right? But
Mm-hmm.
man, summer is just, I don't know. Even when it gets to be like 85 degrees, I'm just like, oh,
Mm.
so stinking hot, man.
Yeah. Um.
Yeah, Great Lakes gang. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, New York is close. That's awesome. You submitted Ronia. Did you just submit a topic
Eastern
to
time
us?
zone.
Um.
We have a couple new topics that just got submitted, actually.
Wow.
One from Jesse. Oh, wait, no. Oh, no. These are old. I'm sorry.
Oh. Okay. Totally okay.
These are old. They pop up once in a while. It's so weird. You ever see? You know what I'm
Yes.
talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Those
I
ones
do.
that were saved and everything
Yes.
like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my gosh, we got new topics, and then it's like, no, we don't actually.
Yeah.
My
That's
bad.
weird. But we do have one new one?
No,
No.
I don't think
Okay.
so.
All right. Cool. Well, Um,
we have some ones that are there,
okay.
but I don't think anything new.
Okay. No big. Um, oddly enough, I'm not able to see the host list at the moment, so we'll have to figure that out another time.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe the button just changed its
Okay.
location on me. I don't know, but oh, you know what? I think I know why. Okay, I found it. We're good. We are good. I was just
We
in
are
the wrong
good.
area. Yep.
Yeah, Roni, I don't see your topic.
Yeah. I don't wait. Um, I found one new one. Uh, why can I get good at video games? But it's by Yozua. So, hey Yozua, hey, what's up? Um, Yozua, since you're here, how you doing? Um, let's do one of these topics. We've got all sorts of different topics here. I am thinking we should start from one of the earlier ones that we can do here. We've got one from April. Oh, that's yeah, okay. June, July. Um, we did that one. Do we want to do Jamie and Jess's? I don't know. It's either Jamie or Jess
I
here.
think they want to be here.
Yeah, it says they wanted to be here. Jamie or Jess, if you are here, please let us know so that we can do yours. Otherwise, we are going to be doing Yozoa's. Did we already do this one? Feeling useless? That might have been on the week that
I
I
don't
was here.
know. We didn't do it last week
Didn't do it last week.
when you weren't here. Nope.
Okay. Okay, you know what? We didn't do this one. I didn't do this one when I was solo, so we can do this one together. That would be great. Yozo, are you up for that? This one is titled Feeling Useless. Is that all right? If it is, awesome.
If it's not, speak now. Okay,
Yeah,
he
or
says
forever
yeah.
hold your peace. I never opened up Snaz.
And cues.
There we go. All right. Sorry for the delay.
Oh yeah, don't forget the snaz, man.
Right?
That's pretty snazzy.
It is. It is. Okay, there we go. And here we are. All right. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put it live. You can feel free to read along if you desire. It is a short read. This one's from Yozua, titled Feeling Useless, and it reads as follows. Why do I just feel uselessness? Like no one needs me at times. Why do I just feel uselessness? Like no one needs me at times. That's from Yozua. And yeah, you know, I remember feeling that feeling. I've definitely felt that feeling before. And it is not a good place, not a joyful place to be. In fact, I think a lot of people in this world, their sense of fulfillment comes from feeling useful to the people around them, or to their company, or to even just themselves. Feeling useful, even just going out and planting trees and being like, that was a useful thing to do. You know, we need more trees in the world or something. So a lot of people get their sense of fulfillment or joy in life out of feeling useful. And I've definitely been in a position where feeling useless has caused like mental breakdowns. And so I recognize that it's a legitimate feeling and legitimate worry, and something that you want to solve. So this is a great topic, and hopefully we can work through it. I think that there have been several topics that kind of touch around this that we've done with you before, but this one is a little bit more direct, and I think this is great to be able to get into this one. So Yozo, I just want to say thank you also for submitting all the topics that you do and opening up your heart, opening up your life to us as much as you have. It's been a blessing to get to know you and to be able to just share your life with other people, and that in such a way that all of us can benefit, because the problems that you go through aren't just yours. They're things that all of us experience, and so it's really really nice.
Mhm.
So I just want to say thank you so much, and you're awesome. With that said, I'm gonna give it over to Joe, and Joe, take it away.
Well, thank you, Ryan, and thank you, Yozo, for the topic. And I can certainly relate to this topic. It's that feeling of uselessness, that feeling of inadequacy, of not good enough, or just like, do I have any kind of purpose here at all? Anything like that. I can completely relate, and it's an amazing thing because you look around and every life is precious. And even in society, I mean, we even see this, like, if somebody goes missing, then all of a sudden there's like all this, stuff that happens and people and search parties and all kinds of like just, you know, stuff that happens to find this missing person. And, or you look at somebody who's in a coma and they work and work and work to try and keep them alive, or, whatever. Somebody is basically incapacitated and can't work and whatever. And, you know, they can't be useful because maybe they're paralyzed and they can't move or whatever, and I can't imagine what that must feel like. But the thing is those lives are still precious, and those lives are still, you know, fought over to be saved and to be kept alive, and it's it's an amazing thing. So what Ryan said is absolutely true. A lot of people in our culture, in our various cultures, they will assign their value to their usefulness.
Mm-hmm.
And we do that all the time. Like I do that to myself all the time, like I'll I'll look and be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm absolutely useless today. Like I can't seem to get anything right. I can't seem to get this thing done. I can't whatever it is." And so then I start to feel like, "Okay, I feel useless." But, you know, the real battle then becomes in, do I have any value as a person? And that can be a real struggle. But the truth of the matter is that we all do. And I have to come to grips with this truth. It's crazy. Like my therapist and I will fight over this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because my brain gets all messed up, and then I'm just like, there's no point in even trying because it doesn't seem to work, or it doesn't seem to be any good, or whatever. And no matter what happens, it's not good enough, or whatever, and we go through these things in our head, and it's like this constant self-critical, battle that's happening. And so I wanted to start with that because I can totally relate, because I feel that way so much. Ever since I was a little kid, I've felt that way. Ever since I've fought this internal mental battle for decades, because it's just, I don't know, it's just how things are sometimes. And I don't know, some people, it almost seems like you see people walking around and they act like they're God's gift to the universe, right? And but to me, when I see that, that's kind of a little bit of a red flag that says this person has some insecurities that they're trying to mask a lot of times, right? Because I think we all deal with insecurity. We all deal with, that feeling of uselessness. I've been unemployed for a while. I had a close friend who was unemployed for over a year, and he felt incredibly useless, but he kept trying and he kept trying and he kept trying, and, ran into brick wall after brick wall after brick wall until finally he landed an internship, which turned into a decent full-time job for him. And it just was because he never stopped trying. And I don't know, I think that's probably one of my best features, excuse me, is that it doesn't really matter. I know that I can always try again, tomorrow or in an hour or in 6 hours or next week or whatever. I can always pick myself up and I can try again, and I can try to be useful. I can try to do something that's, worthwhile. But this is a battle that happens all the time. It runs in my head, and obviously, clearly it runs in your head. Why this happens, I'm not exactly sure. I feel like maybe part of it is cultural, part of it might be society, part of it might be, as we're brought up in this world, we're taught that, we have to be productive if we're going to survive, or if we're going to provide for others or a family or whatever. If we're going to be, a good member of society, we need to have something that's useful that we can do to contribute. And I think that gets drilled into our heads over and over and over and over again until, it just becomes part of our nature. And then when we're not being productive, or we're not really seeing any fruits of our efforts, this mental battle creeps back in. Now, there have been times when I've been on a real high and I've felt useful, and I've been, everything's clicking on all gears, and I'm just like, okay, stuff's getting done, things are growing, things are booming, things are great. And I don't necessarily feel useful, but I don't feel useless either, right? Like I don't sit there and reflect and say, "Man, I'm really useful,"
Hmm.
when that's happening. Just that
Hmm.
I feel good and I feel elated. Stuff's happening, and I'm focused on the next task, and focused on the next thing to be done. And it's like, okay, cool, I can do this. But then inevitably something happens, and everything kind of grinds to a halt. Then we go through this cycle again, and then I feel useless, and then I feel like, oh my gosh, and then I gotta try again and try harder, and refocus my efforts, or maybe change my focus and find something else to do. These are things that are just part of life. And so, Yoto, I'm sorry that you feel this way, but you are not alone in feeling this way. I think this is a struggle for lots and lots and lots of people. And, you know, the real danger comes in when someone is convinced that their usefulness is equal to their value as a person. Because then you start to see, all kinds of depression, you start to see things creep in, you start to see, despair, you start to see this hole that people can fall into mentally, and it can be really tough. And so, one way that I found that I can feel at least useful, or at least valuable, or however, is to go and try and deposit into somebody else's life, whether it's just a kind word or a smile, or, maybe I'll go to a store or a gas station and I'll smile at somebody and I'll say hi or whatever. And so that moment, I was useful to that person. I was valuable to that person just for a moment. And I may never ever see them again, but I might have lifted their spirits just a little bit for just a moment. And, I was thinking about this today, even that, we do Don't Worry Wednesday. We do this every week, and we talk about how great it is, how much we love it. And part of the reason that it's really good for us to do, well, at least for me, I'll speak for myself, is that it forces me to set my own problems aside for a brief period of time and focus on trying to work through an issue with somebody else, trying to help, do whatever I can, whether it's offering perspectives on some of my experiences, or, trying to, offer some wisdom, or just encouragement, all that stuff. I mean, these things, they help me refocus off of myself and my own problems, and it puts that focus onto helping another person, onto lifting another person up, and building them up. And that is such a huge way to alleviate this feeling of being useless. When you can go and even just really simple little things like go and smile at someone, go say hi to someone, go reach out on Discord, reach out to somebody who's a friend, whatever, and just say, "Hey, how's it going?" Whatever. And then just care about another person. If we're doing it just so we can get rid of a feeling of uselessness, that's kind of a selfish desire. So the real impact in our mind comes when we make the shift from saying, I need to feel useful, so I'm going to reach out to somebody and get a response from them. No, the real magic happens when we actually shift our thinking and we go to that point of saying, I care about this person. I love this person. I'm going to reach out and try and make their day better. I'm going to reach out and try and make their life better, whether they respond to me or not. I mean, we all have lives, so sometimes we can respond, sometimes we can't. Sometimes people are busy, sometimes people are gone, sometimes people are on a plane for 2.5 days, like Ryan was.
That's
And
yeah, that's real.
it wasn't that long. It probably felt that long,
Yeah.
but I mean, but we go through stuff. And if you can just reach out and make that deposit, what that will do, and even think about them. Think about, oh my gosh, okay, what are they doing today? What do I imagine their day is like? What might they be going through? And I used to play this game as I would be out in public. Maybe I'd be in a movie theater and be getting out of the movie, and you can see everybody get up and they're walking out or whatever. And I would just look in people's eyes, whether they would look back at me or not. And I would just try and think about, I wonder what that person's dealing with. I wonder what they might be going through. They look like they might be kind of sad. And maybe it wasn't a sad movie or whatever, right? But I try to put myself in their shoes, in their mindset, even though I've never met them before. I'm just looking at them and I'm watching their body language and their facial expressions and everything like that. And I try and think about, I wonder what kinds of things life is handing to that person. And what happens is it takes our mind off of ourselves and our own problems and our own issues and all those challenges and even our feeling of uselessness. And it puts our focus on another person. And when we can do something to help another person or to make their day better, man, that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And so I would encourage you. I know you asked why you feel this way. And I think we feel this way. I think we just go through cycles of feeling this way. I think this is pretty universal throughout all of our lives. But I think one of the best cures that I've found is to genuinely take an interest in other people and to genuinely think about them and to genuinely just try and make their lives a little bit better. And, they may accept it, they may reject it, whatever. But at least when we try, we can feel better about what we're doing and we can feel better about ourselves because we feel like, hey, you know what? I'm actually trying to make an impact. So anyway, I hope some of that makes sense. And I really, really thank you for this because I think this is a pretty, like I said, I think it's pretty universal.
Mm.
And so, but I don't know, that's what I have to start with. And I might come up with something in a little bit, but what I'm going to do is the best thing I can do is turn it over to Ryan because he's like this bastion of wisdom.
Bastion.
And
nice. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
You out wisdom like rapid fire.
Nice. Well, thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's kind of like an interesting thing. Joe was talking about it, and it's. I mean, I've mentioned this quite a few times on past streams, and I don't mind mentioning again. Both Japan and Korea have extremely high suicide rates. In fact, it's the highest in the world. if not the highest, they're like second, third place. And people say it's because they're overworked and so on and so forth, but the root cause is actually this problem, uselessness. They base the value of the individual in their own mind and in their community's mind is based upon how useful they are to society, people around them, and so on. And so when someone doesn't, meet the standards, isn't capable of being useful, or they feel like they're not capable of being useful, or they're just not as useful as the next guy up in front of them, this depression sets in, and it can cause them to lose all faith in themselves, because what happens is, you feel useless, so you just feel like doing nothing, and then you don't do anything because you're depressed, and then you realize the self-fulfilled prophecy of, okay, I am useless because I wasn't doing anything. And it gives you this spiral of self-destruction, which ultimately ends up in despair, like hopelessness. And you just go, well, I can't be helped. I'm on this planet taking up resources from other people. My parents are supporting me, and I'm not able to support anybody. Things like that. And then ultimately ends in suicide. And there's it's very unfortunate. And it all comes from this deep-seated ideology that our value as a human being is directly linked to our usefulness. Or, that's probably the best way to say it. But the reality is that's not helpful and not accurate, right? We know that. We don't look at someone else and say, we don't look at someone who's in a wheelchair, so therefore they can't use their feet. So therefore there's a certain amount of uselessness to them because they have body parts that aren't able to be used. And so they can't perform the same thing a normal person would be able to. And we don't look at that person and say, oh, that's a lesser person, that they're less valuable, right? We don't tend to do that to other people, but we do it to ourselves, right? If you see someone who's sick, we don't just immediately go, oh, they're sick, and because they're sick, they can't work and do things. They can't be as useful as someone who's not sick. So therefore, they don't matter as much. They're not valuable. No, we do the opposite. When someone's sick, we work harder to help them, to help them heal, to get them back on their feet. Not because we want to see them be useful, but because we genuinely care about their health, right? We don't go, oh, I just want to help them not be sick anymore so that they can be useful to society again and help me in my life. It's not selfish like that. We don't do things based on that self-centered interest. As human beings, we look at each other and we have compassion and pity, and we look at each other and say, oh man, that person's suffering. I want to be there for them. And so why do we so often look at ourselves and say, oh, useless? I wasn't able to provide. I'm not as good as the people around me. Because the only way you can judge usefulness is to base it upon something else that was useful. So it's either the people around you or past experiences. But all of that is just self-judgment, and it's unnecessary. And, well, I shouldn't say it's unnecessary. It's necessary in that it can compel us to do more work and be better in people and help more people. Absolutely. That part of it is healthy and necessary. The unnecessary part is when we, like Joe was saying, apply value to ourselves based on our usefulness. That's tricky business, and I think that we should probably try to stay away from that. I'm gonna go now into a past experience. I remember there was this time where I really liked this girl, and this was back in 2009 or something, so many years ago. I really like this girl, and we were playing games together, and we were playing this MMORPG. There was this other guy that, so I liked her, she liked this other guy, and this other guy liked her back, but they were choosing not to be together. Anyhow, kind of a weird love L, not a triangle, but a love L shape. And we were all playing a game together, and I chose particularly to play this class that did not add any value to the team. In fact, I was just stealing experience points because I couldn't really help in the area that we were fighting in the game. And so I was just kind of soaking up experience points, trying to be helpful, but finding myself being unable to be helpful. And it led me to feeling uselessness. And in that particular moment, it felt crushing because there was this guy. So there was this girl that I really liked, and I wanted to impress her, right? Just because that's how we work. And there was this guy who was able to provide, and I was not, right? And so it was crushing. And she liked him, and they were having fun. And I was supposed to be having fun with them, but I just was not having it because I felt useless. I remember after playing for like 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever in this experience, I ended up having like this mental breakdown. And after the mental breakdown, I was like, I realized how ridiculous I was being and how selfish I was being because I was pointing everything towards myself and turning everything against myself. Like the fact that I considered myself useless is taking something, just taking a random fact and pointing it as a weapon against myself, even though that's absolutely unhelpful and unnecessary to do, right? And so I remember I sort of just stepped out, and this was, I talked about this before, but this is when I was feeling depressed, and I just kind of stepped out, I looked at myself in the mirror, and just talked to myself, and talked about myself, like, what went wrong? How did you end up here? What's your thinking? Why is your thinking this way? What can you do to change it and move forward? Just step by step, talking to myself, and then coming up with a game plan of like, what can I do that attacks these problems? So what I did was very simple and very close to what Joe was talking about, and that is stop worrying about how useful I am. Stop worrying about my own actions in terms of how it fulfills myself or how it makes me look. Instead, just apply myself to others, help others in a way that they can't even see that I'm helping them. So that meant, in the middle of the night doing dishes for my mom. Maybe she'll probably know that it was me, but hey, maybe not. Not hoping for any sort of reward. Not hoping, for anyone to see. Hoping no one does see. And just getting my mind off myself and doing positive things for others. It really helped a lot. And I'll add this to it. You wrote this. So it says, why do I just feel uselessness? Like no one else needs me at times. So that desire for other people to need you is not good, right? Because your happiness in life should not be dependent upon how much others need you. And recognize that others needing you is different than you being important. I'm going to say that again. Others needing you is totally different than you being important, right? You are important, regardless of if you're needed for the survival of other people, right? Whether or not someone needs you in order to cook their food, or in order to, fix their technology or whatever it is, whether or not someone needs you to fulfill a role, it doesn't change your importance, right? So make sure you know that. Make sure you recognize that, because that's a trap, right? You think, oh, no one needs me, therefore I'm not important. It's fair, like, it's like, oh, I need food, because so therefore food is important. Sure. But that doesn't work when it comes to applying it to yourself or to human beings. We don't look at a sick person in a hospital and say, I don't need them to survive. I don't need them to get better. Therefore, I will apply no effort to helping them. We don't say that, right? We don't look at someone who's sick and say, well, I don't need them, and then just move on, right? Without any compassion, without any concern, without any hope for them to get better, right? That's not how we work. We don't look at others that way. We don't look at people that way, right? You look at someone who's sick and you say, oh, there's someone in need, right? There's someone in need of help, sure. But you don't need them, right? We don't just say, okay, then kill them, I guess. Euthanize. We don't do that. We look at them with compassion. We help them. There's someone who's in need of my help. Or maybe they don't need my help. Maybe they're already doing all right. But guess what? They find that patients who have a little bit more happiness heal better. They have better recovery rates, better chances of getting over their illnesses, right? So if you can just walk in to someone and give them flowers, something as simple as, hey, I picked this off the side of the sidewalk, here you go, have this, it makes a difference. And so even if someone is useless, it doesn't change their value. It doesn't mean they're not important. If your mom was sick, you wouldn't go, oh, you're sick, you can't make food for me anymore, blah, 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 blah. You're useless to me, so you're not important anymore. No, that person's important because they're a human being and they're in your life and they're valuable and you have a relationship with them, and it's important. All of those things are important. So we need to make sure we separate those, right? So what if you can't tell how people feel and stuff from first glance without them directly telling you? How do I know they're in need? Well, that's simple enough. You can ask. If you can't tell, that's totally okay. I can't tell all the time what other people are experiencing or thinking. I can try, right? But I could be wrong. So the best thing to do is ask. And if they're open to telling you, they'll tell you. If they're really in need and they're dying, they'll tell you. You open yourself up to the possibility of helping someone. Chances are, if they need it, they'll open up to you and tell you. If they don't have any sort of response or don't tell you anything of value, then that's okay. Move on. That's all right. But if you generally just say, hey, how are you feeling? Can I help you with anything? Generally speaking, just that notion is going to make people feel happy. Because people like it when you ask them how they feel. Because it makes them feel like you value them. You value your relationship with them, or you think that they're important enough to ask. People like that. And then if you ask a secondary question like, can I help you with anything? People go, wow, this person's willing to go out of their way for just to help me. Wow, they must think I'm important. They must value me, right? It makes people feel really good. And it doesn't change their value or importance, but it does change how they feel about you, and it changes how happy they are because they recognize that you look at them as though they're important, right? And that's important. That's important to do, and that is a healing thing. And that is even if they don't respond with no, even if they respond like, oh, I don't want any help. No, I'm good. Thank you. Just the notion of going out and reaching out is subconsciously to them in their own head, just subconsciously imprints that they're important and that they're valuable and that they're loved and that they are worth, something to you. And that means a lot. So I'd say if you don't know at first glance, then that's great. Just ask. And that'll do you. I mean, that's great. You end up being able to help them even more, maybe, just because you recognize in humility that you don't know everything, and by being willing to ask, it opens you up to a way better position than someone who's just assuming, like, oh yeah, that person looks all right, or that person looks like they're in need. If just assuming that without asking any questions can be, I don't know, a hindrance, can be, can put you in a place where you're making them feel more uncomfortable or whatever, right? So asking a question, taking that line of humility is perfect. It's even better than knowing, because then you for sure get an answer that's appropriate to what they would be willing to have in their relationship with you. Yeah. He said, I feel as, Ronia says, I feel as long as you give it your all to show your feelings, regardless of how it might look, it's up to the other person to accept. Yep, absolutely. Yep. Mm-hmm. And Meow says, I always consider that I will misinterpret it, so I usually will go on what people tell me. Yeah, absolutely. It's the only thing you can do, If they lead you astray, then it's on them. But generally speaking, people aren't going to try to lead you astray. Some people might be like, oh, I'm fine, I'm okay, even though they're in pain. And that's just because to them, it's important for one reason or another to either look tough, or to not make you worry, because you worrying is another person worrying that can't do anything about it anyways, so why would they have you worry, Or maybe, there's all sorts of different reasons someone might not tell you fully how they're feeling, right? But that's for them to decide, and that's okay. That's okay. They have their own wisdom to go off of, and it might be wise to not share that information at times, right? I mean, absolutely true. If my mom is a worry wart, she's gonna worry herself to death if I tell her, oh, I got some kind of illness. Probably better off just not tell her, because then she won't be panicking. She won't be stressing me out with her panicking. It'd be better for both of us if she just didn't know, right? So there are times that that's the case, right? And so it's okay if they tell you, hey, I'm fine, and they're not really. That's okay. There's probably some wisdom they're trying to put forward in their life. But generally speaking, people will tell you what they want you to hear, and that's okay. So just ask. But anyways, back to the topic, why do you feel useless? It's a matter of perception. It's all in your head. Whether it has anything to do with reality, whether it has anything to do with what's important in life, whether it has anything to do with anything, it's all in your head, right? We can recognize that and say, okay, I feel useless because of something that's going on in my head. My head is looking at the actions I've done over the course of the day or the last week, and it's saying, I should have done this instead. Or it's saying, you're not as good as other people. You can't fulfill roles like other people. Or it's saying one thing or another, right? But your head is telling you this. The point isn't to shut your head up, but to reroute what it decides you should feel. Right? That's a hard one, but it's habit. How we're programmed growing up, Joe was talking about this. We're programmed a lot of times growing up that if we're not catering or active in society, that we're useless, and that's a bad thing. That's programmed into our head through society norms and things that our parents or teachers or other students tell us, And so an example of changing this is someone calling you an idiot. If someone calls you an idiot, okay, let's have there's 5 people in a room and they're all told that they're idiots. All 5 of them are going to have different reactions. Or maybe 3 of them will have the same reaction, 2 of them will have a different reaction. We're all capable of each possible reaction. It's just a matter of habit, right? In the same way that you learn to ride a bicycle, which is you get on one and you try until it works, and then you learn it. And that stays in your head and it's your subconscious mind. And so whenever you hop on a bicycle, even if it's 20 years later, you just hop on and you're like, oh yeah, I can ride this thing. The same mechanic is in your brain to decide how you feel when someone tells you that you're an idiot. Someone says you're an idiot, you might laugh. Be like, you're right. I can be an idiot at times. And that's a reaction. If you choose that enough times, that's how your brain will naturally react immediately, right? Because it's a habit. It's ingrained into your subconscious mind. If someone calls you an idiot and you just get angry, that's a habit too. These are all just, someone calls you an idiot and you might be like, I like that word. Not that I I just like the word idiot. It just sounds cool when it runs off your tongue. So now your brain, that's what your brain is thinking about. I like the word idiot. Idiot. Yeah,
I love it.
cool.
I love being called it because it sounds cool. It makes me sound cool.
Yeah, right, exactly. So these are all completely weird reactions, right? But different. And they're all completely real. Because your brain is a landscape for, you construct on your brain all sorts of, thanks. That's the word. By the way, the YouTube chat censored you.
They did.
Yeah, it was like, he's being mean.
Man, that's a swear word.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Watch your mouth there, Yozwan. But anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, similarly, when you feel useless, your brain is taking in data, and it's outputting, useless. You're looking at yourself and going, useless. Okay. Your brain can take the same data and output a completely different message, right? And you can change what that message is over time through repeated, changing the answer, right? So when you feel useless, remind yourself, you can do one thing that I love Joe does, and he does this when he's meditating, but he just says, thank you, and you're dismissed. So when you feel useless, you can take it and just say, oh, useless. Nah, thank you, you're dismissed. I'm quite all right. I'm quite all right. And then just continue.
It might take a few tries to rid yourself of that thought.
Oh, yeah.
You might have to dismiss it multiple times before you get to the point where it's actually gone. Like, 'cause these thoughts scamper across your head, all the time. So
for sure. And keep in mind, there might be layers that you have to, this thought and then this thought and then this thought, and you just out the window. But anyhow, yeah. So that's one way to change it. Or you can say useless and be like, well, that's one way to look at it. But another way to look at it is, what I'm doing is just fine. And I'm meant to be enjoying life. That's part of why I'm put here. Part of why I'm put here is to have joy. And so if I'm doing something that's joyful, then that's useful. That is useful. So maybe it's playing a video game and I feel a bit useless because I didn't do anything for anyone today. Okay, sure, that's one way of looking at it. But another way of looking at it is, I did something for myself. I had joy. And that makes me a joyful person, which makes me more capable of applying myself to other people in my relationships and giving them joy, which is useful. And then also you can say, all right, I'm feeling useless right now. Like, no one needs me. All right, well, okay, maybe that's fair. What should I be doing instead of what I'm doing right now? Okay, maybe I'll do one of those things. Let's see how that goes. Thanks for the thought. I'm still valuable. I've lost nothing here just by recognizing, other than that I've been given an opportunity to do more. So these are all different things and different ideas you can try to put into your brain. And what's going to happen is, the more you try these different things, the faster you'll get at it and the faster it'll come to you. And whenever you feel useless, like no one needs you, like no one cares about you or no one needs you, your brain will automatically start to go like, oh, you hit a brick wall right here. What are you going to choose to do now that you've recognized this feeling, rather than going, oh, let's plummet into deep depression? So what you're doing is you're building an extra circuit on top of your brain. You're building another circuit for a pathway to be chosen, because you can take this information and immediately feel regret or whatever feeling you feel, which is, like you said, useless and, sad and bad about yourself and so on. Instead, you're adding a new circuit that it hits and says, hey, what are you going to choose to feel, rather than just feeling whatever I've chosen for you or whatever you've chosen in the past. You have now a stopping point for this thought. And if you keep on reminding yourself whenever you feel this way, whenever you feel like, no one cares about you, or whenever you feel like, oh, I'm not useful to anybody, etc., your brain will have that thought and stop and wait for you to make a choice about what you're going to do with that feeling, rather than letting that feeling take over you. And that's huge. And that's one of the main key points to Joe's anger, right? Joe makes his anger useful because he's put this circuit in where his brain goes, anger, feeling angry, and then it stops and says, what are you going to do with this? Rather than just paving right through and going whatever, haywire, whatever would happen. He's programmed a stopper, a buffer, if you will, to make a choice. And that's what you're going to be doing here. But anyways, I know I've talked for quite a while to explain that, but I had a couple of things I wanted to say, and I've said them all. So I'm going to give it back over to Joe. Joe, do you have anything you want to add?
I do. That just hopefully this will be really quick. But and Ryan, I would second everything that you said. There's so much there that you can grab a hold of, Yosua, and you can use. And it can reframe your thinking, and Ryan, thank you for you pointed to some of the things that I've done, some of the things that I've figured out and all that kind of stuff. And I appreciate that. So, I have found these things to be useful. Now, I don't know if they're necessarily going to always be useful to you or to everybody else. Sometimes we have to figure out our own things that work best for us. But even today, I had a very, very freeing moment, right? And so, like, Yosua, because you've been here a lot, and those of you who have been here quite a bit, you guys know that I've wrestled with the idea of existence itself, just the whole thing. Like, I've been upset that I exist. It seems to me like it'd just be so much easier if none of this existed. And so then I get mad at God, and then I yell at him, and then I'm like, forget you, dude. Like, what the heck, man? This is ridiculous. Wouldn't it just have been better if none of this would have happened? Because when you go through trauma and you go through different things, like, you get to these points where you're in despair and you're in this hole and you can't see anything good coming out of it, right? And so, forgive me, my voice, right? I'm the mean guy on Don't Worry Wednesday.
You're great, man.
Ryan said I'm angry. That doesn't change. It's just the fact that I've learned to not suppress my anger, which was actually what my therapist told me. My anger suppression is one of the biggest reasons that I became so depressed. Was because I was angry and I would freeze the anger, and then all of a sudden, after doing that for years and years, it turns into depression, and it's ridiculous. But anyway, so through this process, I've wrestled with existence. I've wrestled with my own existence. Like, what the heck is the point? There's this deep sense of uselessness. There's this deep sense of inadequacy. There's this deep sense of all this crazy. Like, it'd just be so much better if I could go back and, like, undo my existence. Right? Can't. None of us can. We're here and we didn't choose to be here. Oh, I'm having an audio problem.
It's Discord being bad connection.
Oh, man. Well, okay. So maybe Discord's like, this guy's going off the handle. We need to garble up his stuff, you know. So
You're
um.
fine. You're good.
So anyway, good now. Is it better?
Oh, no, I mean,
It's
you're not
working
going
on.
off the handle. You're fine. That's what I meant.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. So my job right now at BSS is a lot of music production. I'm working on a lot of different songs. I'm working with, like mixing and engineering and all this kind of stuff. I'm working on a lot of music. And so I have to do this and I have to give my ears a break. And so it was a really nice day. I go outside, I walk around in the trees, behind the house, and I'm like, hey, like try and be out with nature, let my ears clear out a little bit and just hear the sounds and let my mind kind of wander a little bit. And I'm even still, I wrestle with this existence question. And I kind of had this moment today where I was like, you know what? Why do I exist? Why does this existence thing have to happen? And it's like, it doesn't matter. It happened. And here we are. And I could take this same thought and apply it to I feel useless or I feel inadequate or whatever. Well, it doesn't matter. Like, here I am.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm here. And I guess, what do I do with that?
Yeah, I do that a lot, especially like if I mess up, make like a I do something I feel guilty about. At some point, I have to just recognize like, well, I'm here now. So
Mm-hmm.
what? All right, let's move forward because that's literally the only thing I can do. Otherwise, I just sit here and hurt myself more and more. So let's just move forward. I'm here now. Let's go.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm here. What am I going to do? And sometimes the answer is I'm going to lay down and close my eyes and take a nap, or I'm going to
Oh
lay down
yeah.
and close my eyes and just try and clear my head, or I'm going to cry, or I'm going to, whatever. Sometimes that's the answer because we don't
Mm-hmm.
always have to be doing something productive. Sometimes we need to rest.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I fought against that. I see Meow. You talked about, a few nights in a row you've had like 5 hours of sleep, man.
Mm-hmm.
I know. For years, I slept on 5 or less hours of sleep, and it can be really taxing on you. But the reason I started to do that was because I felt so useless because I slept so much, and I would sleep like 6 hours, and I'd be mad at myself because I'm like, I could have been doing stuff for more time. Instead, I was sleeping, and I didn't value sleep
Mm-hmm.
until I had a few incidents where I was like, okay, I need to actually get more sleep because
Yep.
our bodies actually need it. And so some of these things can play a factor into our mental health. How much sleep you're getting, how much water you're drinking, and what kinds of foods you're eating. Like these things, and you can feel free if you have any questions about this, you can feel free to DM me in Discord. But those are some of the things that physically we can do that improve our mental health. And these are things that my therapist has taught me. There's things that, I didn't even think about. I was just like, hey, I'm just going to go. I'm going to be the Energizer Bunny and I'm just going to go. I'm going to go until I run into a brick wall. And part of that's my mentality now with just life in general. I'm like, I'm going to live and I'm going to work my butt off until I just die and skid 10 feet, you know? Like, I'm just going to
If
run.
you don't skid 10 feet when you die, then you're not doing it right.
I know, right?
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so hey, it's all good, buddy. You can always go back and listen to it. If you have any, and like I said, you're friends with me on Discord. You can DM me whenever. And I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But like I said before, my life these days is a lot of music production and it's a lot of focus and there's a lot happening. But anyway, what are you eating? How much are you sleeping? How much water are you drinking? Are you moving your body? Are you exercising? Are you stretching? Are you doing anything? I know that yoga can be a really, really good thing, and you can find beginners yoga stuff on YouTube, but just these little things that can help improve our mental health. And they don't seem like they're useful at all. But they do make an impact. They do make a difference. I go in and out of phases where I exercise a lot. I always feel better when I exercise regularly. In fact, I have a shoulder issue that tells me if I haven't been working out enough. It's crazy. Like if I go like 3 weeks to a month without exercising, like and I don't mean just walking. I mean I have to like physically like do some strength training. And if I go 3 weeks to a month, I have this shoulder issue that just crops up and it hurts really, really, really bad. And I'm like, ah, yep, fell off the wagon. I got to get back on the wagon, or else my shoulder is just gonna hurt. And so then I start working out, and then within a week, the shoulder issue goes away. And then I forget about it, and I keep working out for a little while, and then I fall off the wagon again, and I go a month without working out, and then my shoulder hurts again. Right? So I have this like this like reminder, you know. But anyway, your usefulness, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Our usefulness doesn't really matter. What I get done in a day, I mean, it matters to me in my head. It matters to the goals that I have set. But in the grand scheme of things, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm here. And I can't change that. I exist. I can't change the fact that I exist. I can't change the fact that I have friends that count on me. I can't change any of that. And so what I'm going to do is my best at any given moment. I kind of had this moment today where I was just like, you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how useful I feel at any given moment. It doesn't. Because I can't change the fact that I'm here. And so, if I have to be here, then what am I going to do with my time? What am I going to do with myself? Do I run up to the store? Do I buy some chips? I don't know. Do I go to the gas station? You know, just talk to the person? Do I, whatever? Do I, I don't know. Do I just walk around in the trees? Do I go kayaking? Do I take a walk down the road? Do I sit there? Do I go to sleep? Do I, whatever, you know, like, but here's the thing. I cannot undo the fact that I'm here. And whether or not I'm useful, it doesn't matter that much. What matters is that you know in your head that you are valuable, my friend. Whatever usefulness you feel you may or may not have, you are valuable beyond measure, infinitely. And there are people's lives that you touch that are so thankful for you to be in them. And I'm one of them.
Count me in too.
So, man, I don't know. I don't know how to make you necessarily feel better, because sometimes we can get into a funk and we can just, our brain will go there and there's nothing anybody can say to make us feel better because we're just convinced. Right? It happens. But I can tell you honestly, I'm thankful that you're here. I'm thankful because, man, if I got to be here, it's nice to have some friends. So anyway, I don't know. I spoke for a long time, a lot longer than I wanted to. But anyway, I'm going to turn it back over to Ryan and see where it goes from here. So
Yeah.
thanks, Yoso. Thank you for the topic.
Thank you so much. I'll try to wrap up one little quick thing and then go to the next one. And that is, Yozua, I know sometimes you feel like no one needs you. And I'll tell you what, Yozua, I don't need you, but I want you and I like you and I'm happy you're here. And even if I don't need you in my life in the sense of like, in order to survive or, you know, find happiness or something, you are an important person and you have so much importance and value that no one could ever replace you. You are your own distinct, unique individual and you matter so much. in this world. And so, regardless of whether or not you feel needed, you're greatly loved and appreciated, and you deserve that love and appreciation because you are who you are and you're amazing and we like you. So even if you're not needed, that doesn't change anything about how much we love you and we're happy that you're here and that you're with us. So thank you so much for the topic, and we hope that it was helpful and that moving forward things will get better along these issues. So yeah, thank you so much, Yozo. You're amazing, and we love you. All right, we spent some time on that one. Hopefully we'll have another time for more. Obviously, we have more time for more, but we'll see how many we do. Get to.
And man, we're still having trouble with Ronia's. I am so sorry for the technical issues on that. Man, I don't know what to tell you. I can troubleshoot a little bit with you.
Ronia, how long is yours? If you want, you could type it in the chat for us. All right, have a great night, Mialado.
Yep.
Thank you so much
for
being
later,
here.
Buddy.
Thanks for helping us out on the stream. You're awesome. If everyone has any topics they want us to cover, go to don'tworrywednesday.com and you will find the ability to submit a topic there.
And make sure you click that you are a human. Yep. And I believe in the CAPTCHA, it requires capital letters.
BS. No, Don't Worry Wednesday. DWW.
DWW, I believe, is always the CAPTCHA.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's all capital letters. And
like
it's weird. Like I know, we ran into this early on when we did it. People would be like, am I a human? And it's like, no. People would be joking around and stuff, and then we just wouldn't get the topic because it would filter it out. And then it'd be like, yep, you got to admit to the fact that you're a human.
Yep. It prevents us from getting
whether or not you identify as a floppy disk or whatever, like.
Identify as a floppy disk. Yeah, that one might get you in trouble on ours. You have to say human, whether it's true or not. You have to. Yeah, Ronia, are you still with us? If you are, let us know if we can help, and if you might be able to just submit it here instead.
Yep, you can do that, or you can send it to my Discord. I have my Discord open. And Ryan does too. I know because we're on a Discord call.
That's true.
So I know his Discord is open.
That's right. Yep.
But Ryan gets like 500,000 messages a second. So
a second, jeez. Oh man. God, yeah. Oh man. If that was the case, I would not see. I would just give up. I don't think I would. I would not use Discord anymore. I just feel like can't be done. Can't be done. Nope.
Nope. No more Discord.
Nope. Creating a new account. All right. Yeah. Well. Guess. In the meantime, since we're just kind of in limbo here, do you want to do a topic on bread?
Sure. Or we can do the addiction topic, or the bread topic. The forgetfulness of topics topic, I think probably. Why can't I remember my topics? I don't know if I can help you. The bread topic.
The bread topic. I don't seem to be able to submit this. Oh, no. There we go. Trying to say that this has been
You
answered.
guys pick
It
it
won't
up?
let me. The date is all wonky.
Oh, I gotcha.
Okay, there we go. I did.
Wonky
It's
date.
the game. The
I've
Teams
had
is
a few
being really
wonky
weird to
dates
me.
in my life.
Team is being
And maybe
weird.
Teams is the issue. Maybe that's why we are not getting Ronia's topic. But we did get Yozua's, you know, that
Yeah.
was sent just now. Or, well, not just now, but like around the same time, like at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But Microsoft Teams is messed up sometimes. It'll
Yeah,
do
it's
some
being
funky,
weird.
weird stuff.
Okay.
Weirdy.
What about a topic about ice? Okay, he's a bread, so let's do it. Since we've
Do the
got
bread
nothing
one?
else. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll do the bread one.
we'll do the bread one.
Bread topic. So
Yeah.
again, if you guys have a topic you'd like us to discuss on Don't Worry Wednesday, go to don'tworrywednesday.com, click the submit a topic button, fill out the form, make sure you say you're a human, and do all capital letters for the DWW CAPTCHA, and then we should get it, as long as Teams isn't screwing things up.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Joe.
There you go.
Perfectly
You're
said.
welcome. Public service announcement.
Yes. All right, Yozua. This one's from you. This titled Bread reads as follows. What is the
Bread.
best type of bread? And what's the best way to have that bread? For example, white bread toasted with some beans or as a sandwich. All right. Great. This is a deep conversation we've entered now. Very, very, what's the word? Controversial. That's very opinionated. What's the best type of bread? All right. Well, Joe, what do you got?
You know, I don't eat a whole lot of bread anymore. I've moved from eating, I've moved to eating more of a high-fat diet. Bread is not fat. Bread is a carbohydrate, right? And what I'm finding in the way that my body works is my brain functions better when I when I eat high fat. My body functions better when I eat high protein, and my body sleeps better and crashes harder when I eat lots of carbohydrates. Now, that's not to say that they're not valuable, because they do, like, I don't know. I know this isn't a nutrition topic, but we're talking bread, and I feel like I got to explain why I don't eat bread so much.
Fair enough.
It's good. Carbohydrates are great. Like the night before you have something physically strenuous the next day, because when at least for me, because I'll eat a bunch of carbs and then I'll be really, really tired and I want to go to sleep, and then I'll sleep and then I'll get up, and all that I will have that energy stored for the next day and I'll be able to use it. Right. But if I want my brain to function well, which is what I need to have happen a lot these days, is I have moved to more of a high fat diet. And so I'll drink things like bulletproof coffee, and, which is just coffee with a bunch of fat in it in the form of butter and coconut oil and
Duck fat.
fun. It's beautiful.
No,
it's
it's
beautiful.
great.
I should put bacon grease in there. It'd probably be really, really good.
That's great.
But anyway, what's the best kind of bread? Honestly, probably either some kind of French or Italian bread.
Caronia.
It's
very
French or
long.
Italian bread warmed up with some butter on it. Or dipped in soup.
Oh, nice.
That's probably the best.
Makes sense to me.
Not rye bread. Rye bread can get thrown out the window.
I love rye bread. So,
And
Joe,
pumpernickel also can get thrown right out the window.
Pumpernickel. Yummy. Joe,
Yeah, well,
might I recommend a multi-grain bread for you then? Since you said you wanted...
You recommend anything
Since
you
you
want.
said you wanted fat and protein. Seeds. Seeds. and I suppose nuts, but not really, seeds specifically, they are entirely filled with proteins and fats. Because in order for a plant to go, or for a plant to grow from a seed, it needs protein chains, which are the construction molecules, and high fats so that it has something to consume and produce a high amount of plant. So seeds are constructed of two main ingredients, proteins and fats. So if you went with a bread with high seed content, you might find yourself feeling pretty good.
Well, as long as it's not rye or pumpernickel.
Yeah, I mean, generally, I've never seen a rye or pumpernickel like stacked with seeds. But
Yeah, me neither.
multigrain
That might be
usually.
not bad to try.
Yeah.
Now, I like breads. I like rolls. I like biscuits. And probably,
Ooh.
like plain white bread is about my favorite. Yes, you are right. You can tell. We can tell you're British because you referred to beans on toast.
Yeah, I
That's
know,
something
right?
I.
That was weird. I hope so, Ronya,
Um,
because I've got a quick question for you. Is there, I believe there's a word counter, sorry, a character counter. So you can only have so many characters in the topic. So maybe you're running into an issue where yours is super long and you might need to shorten it. Otherwise, if you want, you can put it into several parts and message us on Discord. Because we still have time left to do your topic, and we would love to do it if we have the ability to. Would you be willing to message Joe or I on Discord with the topic? And we'll just get past the website because it's giving you problems for now. Would that be all right? If not, that's okay. We can do it next week if you're short for time. Anyways, yeah, for me, breads, I mean, I like every kind of bread. There's so many different flavors and so many different kinds of, you know, just tastes to enjoy, different textures to enjoy. So what's the best way to have bread? I don't know. I love rye if I'm eating it with soup, chicken noodle soup. I just want it cold and buttered, not toasted. But if I'm having let me tell you this. If I'm having something in the morning, a bagel is probably the best kind of bread ever because you can have bagel with cream cheese and you can also put like jam on it or chocolate if you want or whatever you wanted. It tastes amazing. I like everything bagels. I don't know if you have those where you're at, Yozua, but everything bagels are amazing. I've had bagels here in Australia now, and they're very hard. So they're different. They're different. Yeah. Go.
One of my favorite breads is the English muffin.
Oh yeah, English muffins
I
are
don't
great.
know if they're English,
Yeah.
but yes, those are fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
Hey,
Shoyo, what's
welcome,
up?
Shoyo. How's it going with
Hey,
you?
thanks. Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you doing? Also, let's see what other, okay, what I was gonna say is the best way to have a bread is to make a sandwich, but what you do is you take the bread, and before you even make a sandwich with it, you take a bread and you spray it with oil, like butter, and you flip it upside down and you spray it again, and then you put mayonnaise on it, and then you build a sandwich just on top of it. You don't put a bread on top, though. Just open face sandwich. You put your cheeses, your meats. You can put grape tomatoes on top or cherry tomatoes or whatever, and onions, and then you bake it. And then when it comes out, you're going to be so happy you made that sandwich. It is going to be the best sandwich you've ever eaten in your entire life because it is so good that way. And you have to spray your bread down with oil or else it will burn and it won't taste nearly as good. So, yeah, that is the best way to have bread, in my opinion.
I discovered another really good way to have bread.
What's that?
Not too long ago, I made a whole tray full of bacon.
Okay.
Because when I make bacon, I make it in the oven. I'll cook a whole package of bacon on a tray. Some of you guys have probably seen my pictures in the Static P Friends Discord where I'll put the pictures of the bacon that we're making and stuff like that. So I cook it in the oven, and what I end up with is this tray full of bacon grease. And so I took some bread and I just like plopped it on the tray with the hot bacon grease, and then I just let it sit there and soak up a bunch of bacon grease, and then I like took it on. It was so good. Bread with bacon grease all over it. That's a really good way to eat bread.
I guess if you really like bacon, that would be a really good way to have it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you bake it?
It is.
Do you bake the bread with the grease
No.
in it? Well, you could.
No. You just sit there and soak it.
You soak it up. Like, oh yeah, when I was little, my mom used to make these little sausage rolls, and basically you just take bread and the sausage, and you get the sausage so hot that it ekes out all of its oil into the bread, and then you wrap it up in tinfoil and you put it on the front of your car dash in the winter so that you got that hot air blowing all that smell around in your car and heating the tinfoil up and cooking the sausages.
Oh wow.
And then you go for like a 2-hour trip and you just snacking on those, and they're like nice and warm and toasty and wet with like sausage grease. It is so good.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Yep.
wow.
Yep, that's what we used to do.
That sounds tantalizing.
I know, right? Makes you want to go on a road trip just to.
Ronia says bread with cheese inside, like the Bosco sticks.
Oh,
you ever had Bosco sticks?
Yes, I love Bosco sticks. I haven't had them in forever.
Those are so good.
Yeah.
I bought a whole bunch of them, and my kids didn't like them. I bought them so I could share them with my kids when they were over for one of my weekends with them.
But you didn't share them because you ate them all before they got there.
I did. Well, no, they didn't like them.
What? Oh, well, then more for you. How could you not like those? They're stinking amazing.
I got to eat them all, but like it was, hey, like I was like, how do you not like these? These are so good.
Yeah.
But hey.
Yeah. I don't know, man. They're awesome.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, whatever. Everyone's got their own taste. It's like an opinionated topic here, But personally, I like everything. I like everything, and I like it if it has bread in it. I love bread. Soft bread. I guess
everything.
Hard stale bread is not that great.
Everything. You like everything.
Yeah, wood is yummy. Rocks are good.
Really? Really?
Cement, even if it's acidic, tastes great as long as you put it on.
I mean, when you get shredded cheese, there's sawdust in it, right?
Yeah, right. Actually, I prefer non-shredded cheese because of the sawdust particles or whatever that actually is. But
you said you liked it.
I do like it. I still like it. I just have a preference.
You liked everything.
Okay, I haven't had everything in order to like it. And just because I like it doesn't mean I don't like other things way more than it. For example,
okay.
I like oranges, but I will choose almost any fruit before orange if I'm going to just eat a fruit. Same with apples. I like apples, but I don't like eating them just by themselves, and I have to cut them out. I hate that. I hate biting into a raw apple.
Really?
Yeah, it hurts your gums. And
what about a rotten one?
I guess that would be better because then it wouldn't hurt your gums. It'd be nice it'd be like a peach, or sort of like a pear. It'd be like a pear.
Yeah. Nasty, but at least softer.
Oh yeah, I'll eat a rotten apple. I mean, it's more. It's like just like extra protein and gut. What do you call those? Probiotics.
Probiotics.
It might not be. It might not be probiotics, but hey, whatever.
Don't eat rotten apples.
Don't eat rotten apples. We are not professional nutritionists or police officers or medical directors or anything. So don't eat rotten apples.
We're none of that.
Don't eat pretty much rotten anything unless it's called sauerkraut or any numerous things that we actually do eat rotten. I can't remember all of them right now.
And yes, Joshua, an ice cream sandwich is really a sandwich.
Yeah, it is. I think most things
because what's a sandwich? A sandwich is something that it's like two things surrounding another thing, right?
Right.
Isn't that so? Like you could make a bacon pepper sandwich, which I've had before. Bacon, 2 pieces of bacon with a jalapeno pepper in between.
Yep, that's a sandwich. I think most things break down into either sandwich, pie, or soup. And that's everything. That covers almost all your bases.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Or cake, if it's just bread.
Is there a link? Is there a link to, you mean to the Static P Discord server,
Oh, or do you mean, oh,
Ronia?
okay, I think they're trying to contact us on Discord. Um, or maybe the
Oh,
Discord server. I'm not sure. Either way, for me, it's, did you put an at in front of it? I don't remember now.
you can go. I don't know. That's
Mine is
I
that, I believe.
copied my
Or maybe it says,
username.
I don't know, it's one of those two. You can add friend. One of those two will get you
Yep.
to me. And one of them will get you to
And it's probably,
Yozel.
mine would be this,
I always forget which one's mine.
probably.
And if you want the, yeah, it might need an @ sign in front. I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't remember. They just changed the way Discord works, so I don't know what it is anymore.
Yeah, it's weird. It used to have a number and memorize the number and everything like that. And, you know,
Isn't an ice cream
6992 was my number, but now I don't have it.
isn't an ice cream sandwich 2 pieces of chocolate cookie and then ice cream in the middle, but cookie is made of all the same ingredients that bread is, so it might be able to be termed as chocolate bread. You might be
Good.
able to stretch
And
it.
you've got Oreo cookies. Oreo cookies are sandwiches. Those are sandwich cookies.
True. Yeah.
Unless somebody eats all the middle out and then you're left with the 2 dry cookie parts. Then it's no longer a sandwich. It's
Yeah,
just
well,
2.
if you deconstruct a sandwich, it's no longer a sandwich, so that's true. Okay, thanks, Yozoa. Static-P. All right. Perfect. Hopefully that'll get you to us.
Sweet.
But Ronia, you said you want to do it next week, and
Yep.
sorry we don't have another topic.
And also,
lined up.
Ronia, you can also send it to this email address if you'd like. dww@bss.studio. And we will get it there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So those are different ways you can get your topic to us. We'd love to do it.
Yep.
And I'm sorry for the confusion. I'm sorry for the mishaps. I'm wondering if it's too long. Like you did say there's a character limit.
Yeah, there is a character limit. Yeah, sorry about that. It's just that we can't do a show.
And unfortunately, the answer to that isn't to just leave out the spaces and punctuation and just make it one big, huge, long word. That would not be.
Cow. Oh man. Oh, I would hate to be the person proofreading that.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Don't include the period.
So
That's
Ryan's
smart for you. Oh wait. So Yozo, is mine actually static P without the dash? Which one is
hyphen?
Mine? I don't know. I'd have to look. I don't even know how to look.
Look, I will find it right here. It's static P with no hyphen.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Now your name shows up static P with a hyphen.
I know.
As far as like the whatever tag.
Yeah. The problem is YouTube
whatever.
did the same thing beforehand, but they didn't allow hyphen, so I had to take static P with no hyphen. And so I wanted to be consistent. And so that's my YouTube, and that's also my Discord, and so it is what it is. Unfortunately.
I put this in here so long ago. My about me says I like dirt.
I like dirt. That's perfect. That's beautiful.
Oh, sorry. I was just looking up to see if I would get this right, and I was like, oh, apparently I like dirt.
So, Joe, we have one in here. It's a random general topic. It's titled Combating Addiction.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that one? Since we have some time. All right. Well, thanks for the bread topic, Yozua. This is a little fun one. We we ought to do this one. This is a good one. And Joe has some things I know he'd love to say on it. So
I have experience.
He has the experience to tell you his experience.
Well, I don't know about the experience. I have some experience with such things.
No, he has the experience. Don't let him like tell you don't let him tell you a different story. He has the experience.
I'll tell you all kinds of whatever stories.
All right, you know what? Joe will, and we're gonna like it. This is called combating experience, and combating experience, combating addiction.
Combating experience.
It's from I actually don't know, probably Yozawa, but it doesn't say. And
back when we were looking for random general topics.
Yeah, so I think it was Yozawa, and it reads as follows: combating addiction. All right, that's great. So. No, this is actually a very important topic. I think this is a topic that we all need to go through. We all have addictions, and they need to be worked on. You know, some addictions are good, but generally we're talking about bad addictions, obviously. And there's plenty of bad addictions out there. Some of us, we don't even realize we have them, but when we do, I think that's great, and we should try to act relatively immediately. So this is a really good topic. It's very universal. We all have this in our life, or will have it at some point, or have had it at some point. We all have to battle with it, and I think that it's just a perfect topic to end on, I guess, for this week. And I'm looking forward to see what Joe has to say on it. So I'm going to get out of this way. I know he wanted to write a book on this because he found there's
maybe
a lot
I will
of things.
Someday.
Yeah, awesome. He's found a lot of good techniques and wisdom about the topic in his life. So I'm excited to see what he's got to say about it. So I'm going to step out of his way and let him take it.
So yeah, Ryan first of all, thank you for the topic. And and hopefully I can offer some insight. Ryan said there are good addictions out there. I might argue with that.
Are they not called addictions? Oh, you're saying, okay, right. You would call them habits, and addictions are always, generally bad. Okay, fair enough.
What is an addiction? An addiction is something that we feel compelled to do beyond our sense of control. Like when we become addicted to something, we no longer have full control of our faculties, and we feel compelled to do this certain thing, whether it's a physical.
I agree with you. I agree with you then. There's probably no good addiction. I agree with you in that definition.
Okay. So now addictions well, what the heck? I'm getting some weird
turbulence.
Weird notifications. Okay. Anyway, addictions are, like I said, there's something we feel compelled beyond our control to do, whether it's a physical addiction or a chemical addiction or something like this. Oh, yes, I will make sure I do that. And let's see. Hey, look. Ronia, I have your friend request, and I will answer that after the show. So anyway, all right. So here we are with addictions. We can break addictions. Some of them are really hard. Some of them are physical. Some of them, like, we become chemically addicted to things. You know, things like smoking, things like drinking, things like even, there are other addictive chemicals out there. It's pretty amazing. We have an opioid epidemic apparently in the United States, where a lot of people are addicted to opioids, and these are chemical addictions. They're physical things in our bodies. And there are other drugs that people have become addicted to, legal ones, illegal ones. There's so much that we can become addicted to. Other addictions are mental or emotional, or, so like we can become addicted to TV shows or video games or people, or, one of the crazy things that I've recently learned is that there is an addiction to text messages. Now, what's the common denominator for all addictions? Dopamine.
Mm.
That is the primary common denominator in any addiction, is that we get a flood of dopamine. That is the thing that makes us addicted. Dopamine is like the reward chemical in our brain, right? We when we experience that flood of dopamine, it's like we're being rewarded. It's like we're being, like we feel better, we feel rewarded, we feel good, right? And so when then that chemical wears off, we need more of it. And so we seek after the things that cause the dopamine rush. And they've come to the conclusion that when we see a text message pop up from someone that we're hoping to see a text message from, it floods us with dopamine, and therefore we become addicted to receiving text messages. It's crazy. Like, we can become addicted to just about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that causes that dopamine rush where we can, then get that reward sensation, and it can, then compel us to act in certain ways to get that dopamine rush again. And so then we are no longer operating in our full faculty of control. So how do you beat it? There's lots of ways. There are addictions. I've been addicted to many things. I've been addicted to many different chemicals throughout my life. I've been addicted to other mental things, and part of it might be built in a little bit in my personality. Some of us tend to have addictive personalities. I've discovered through therapy that I'm a little bit obsessive compulsive, and I have probably minor ADHD and an addictive personality. And so these things just kind of come natural. I fall into addictions like you wouldn't believe. And so then how do you get rid of them? Well, it depends. Sometimes you can go cold turkey, and then you have serious withdrawal. And sometimes if it's a physical addiction, like to a chemical such as nicotine, caffeine, alcohol, something like that, those can be painful. Sometimes the withdrawal symptoms can make you feel sick, and it can be really, really tough. So there are a few things you can do that can help. One is sleep. Sleep, maybe even excessively. Because an addiction, we smooth out the addiction with more time that passes when we don't do the thing we're addicted to. Right? And at first it's really hard, and then it gets easier over time, and then before we know it, then it's okay, we're not addicted to it anymore, and we can go about our lives, and we don't feel chained to this thing anymore. So one way to pass that time is sleeping. And for me, that was great. Whenever I was trying to get past a physical chemical addiction, sleeping was one of my best friends, because it would pass the time. I was unconscious, so I didn't know what was happening, and then I'd get up and then I'd try, I might make myself go back to sleep, whatever. But the thing the thing that needs to happen is you have to pass time without the thing you're addicted to. And so then what do you fill your time with? Well, sleeping is one of them. Another really, really, really good one is exercise and drinking water. Those things, especially when it comes to physical addiction, drinking lots of water and exercising are huge, especially cardiovascular exercise. Because what that does, anytime you can get your heart beating faster, then it sends more blood through your system, and it sends it through and flushes. Like, it's basically like flushing your system. So it's getting that chemical out that is causing the addiction. Now, I'm going to be all over the place here, but when we experience a physical chemical addiction, such as caffeine or nicotine or alcohol or something like that, what happens is we ingest this chemical. And so the amount of that chemical in our body goes up. So what our body does, our body wants to balance things out. So it produces a bunch of other chemicals to kind of balance out the chemicals that you've just introduced into your system. So now you have this, now your body's at homeostasis. You're in balance. But the chemical that you ingested, those wear off and your body processes them faster. So now you have a chemical imbalance of the things that your body produced. So now you feel all out of whack again. And you're like, what do I need to do? Well, I need to reintroduce that chemical so I can bring that back up. And it's like this constant back and forth of your body trying to balance itself out. And that's, and then we feel that pain, the withdrawal, when that chemical goes down. So one of the best things you can do is flush your body of all of it as quickly as possible. And we can do that through exercise and drinking lots of water. Because when we exercise, it makes us, pump all that stuff through our body faster, and drinking lots of water flushes it out. Now, it still takes time, but, that as far as physical addiction is concerned, I have found that is probably the 3 best things you can do to combat a physical addiction: sleep, water, and exercise. Um, so when it comes to mental or emotional addictions, such as addictions to people, or addictions to messaging, or addictions to gaming, or whatever it is, in that regard, what we need to do is have time without that thing. And that can be really, really hard. Especially the longer we've gone with that thing as a part of our lives, that person, that thing, that activity, whatever it is that's producing the dopamine to make us addicted to it. So sometimes people will go ahead and remove themselves from your life, and then so you go cold turkey on a person. And that's one way to get past the addiction. Just never talk to them again. Right? Now, that could be seen as rude.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe unnecessary. But there's also, you can do things in a gradual stepping down as well. And that's something I've done with both physical and mental addictions, where it's like, okay, I have this certain, medication that I'm addicted to, and I take 4 of them a day. All right. So for the next week, I'm going to only take 3 a day. And then the next week after that, I'm only going to take 2 per day. And then the next week after that, I'm only going to take 1 per day. And then I'm going to try and maybe take 1 every other day. And you can gradually step down in your addiction, so it reduces the withdrawal pain. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You can do the same thing with gaming or with people or texting or whatever, right? You can just kind of, what really you need to do first is figure out how much you're doing this activity, so you know where your starting point is, so then you know what it looks like to step down. And it generally can take a deliberate effort on your part to make this happen. Like, it's something that you have to maybe write down on a calendar and say, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is my day. And then you might need to journal about it and say, okay, well, I slipped up this day and I was at full bore or whatever, and so I'll start again tomorrow. The thing about addiction, it's one of the most important things we need to do is retrain our brain to live without that thing. So we're no longer in need of it. Some of these things are good things. It's good to be in contact with people. It's good to love someone. It's good to communicate. But it's bad when you are in an addictive situation, when you're addicted to that person or that activity. Then it no longer is good because then you're not free. So, I don't know. We have to retrain our brain to then understand that we don't need the thing we're addicted to. And we can do that by gradually stepping down. We can do it by going cold turkey and cutting it off completely. From my experience, cutting something off completely immediately is the tougher way to go. It's more painful. And if you can gradually step down, that's a little less drastic and a little less painful on your system. But that's just my own personal experience. Some people are huge proponents of just go cold turkey, just no more. Just no more at all. Just cut it off. And that can be effective. But I find that to be the more painful route. So anyway, that's about all I have to say, I think. I'm going to turn it back over to Ryan. Ryan,
Sure.
I know that you've had addictions before.
Okay.
In some way, shape, or
Yeah. Yeah, well, this is a good topic. I mean, Joe, you did a great job of covering it, especially the physical side. I don't have very many experiences on the physical side. I've never really been addicted to too many medicines. Maybe certain nutritional things like bread. Not really. I'm kidding in that one. Just bringing it up from the last topic. No, I don't know. As far as physical ones, I can't necessarily point to any. I might have had some, but I've been very blessed and lucky to not have any, even in terms of drinking coffee every single day for like a year straight. I can go cold turkey and not have any headaches or anything. I completely forget about coffee, that it even exists, for several weeks, and I don't even notice. So I've been very blessed and lucky to not have to experience the physical side of addiction, at least too much that I can recount. So I'm lucky there. But as far as mental addictions, sure, absolutely. I mean, there have definitely been quite a few number of things that I've been addicted to mentally. You know, one example might just be entertainment or video games or things along that line. Yeah. So when you're overcoming some of those things, I think, follow what Joe said. I think it's absolutely right. One thing I found very helpful, at least as far as conquering mental addictions, is a bit of a weird route. But if you bear with me, maybe you'll understand why it works. When you're suffering with an addiction, if you decide to take up a fast, so let's say you're battling addiction to entertainment. Take up a fast with food. I know it's not entertainment, but take up a fast with food. And you're like, I don't have a problem with food. I don't have an addiction to it. Great. That's why we want to start there. Because you want to start somewhere where you don't have an addiction to it. So if you do have an addiction to food, maybe you're an emotional eater. Maybe that's your addiction. You're an emotional eater. Maybe you need something else, something that you're not addicted to, and you can take a fast from there. Fast meaning slow down on your intake, right? You don't have to give it up completely, but give it up for periods of time. I only eat once a day, or I'll see your doctor before deciding what you're going to do about your health and eating habits, blah blah blah. But disclaimers. But generally, a human can survive 2 weeks at minimum without eating food. So don't push that envelope, but if you go, okay, I won't eat for one day out of the week, or I won't eat for 2 days out of the week, or I'll eat one meal a day instead, right? Or you'll fast from something else that you can handle, like I won't partake in this particular kind of entertainment, or I will not be on my phone as much, right? Whatever you don't have a problem with, right? So you start there. When you fast from that, you will within the week, you will start to see yourself being able to conquer your other addictions easier. So let's say you fast from food. All of a sudden, you find yourself working harder and wanting to play games less, or wanting to watch TV less. Just because your mind gets in the process of going, we're conquering this thing over here. I'm showing that I have the mental fortitude to give something up that's a part of my daily life, and to give it up and to experience the lack of it in my life. Like, oh yeah, I am hungry. I am hungry, sure. But I'm conquering that. And you're witnessing yourself conquering that. It gives you, it trains in you the self-control needed to conquer addictions, especially mental ones. And it also gives you some emotional support, because you notice yourself winning, and it makes it easier to keep that ball rolling on other fields. So if you're trying to give up an addiction, say, okay, I'm gonna slow down on my entertainment, you can take up an eating fast, and you will almost naturally see you requiring less entertainment based on what you normally feel like you need in a day. Also, it allows you to push the envelope a little bit farther, because you're like, I'm already exceeding in this area where I'm trying to be self-controlled. Now I can put it in the entertainment area and watch as you're like, oh, I can do this. I can do this. And so that momentum helps with your brain to conquer your addictions, right? The hard thing about addictions is that it's all in your head. But the lovely thing about fasting is it's in your head. And witnessing yourself winning makes it easier to win in other areas, because you believe you can do it, and you know that you can do it because you've experienced doing it, and our brains learn from experience. Whether our experience is reality or not, whether it's actually based in truth or not, our brains interpret the experience and go, that's something I can do. One thing that's really hard about addiction is you try so hard and you fail and you fail and you fail to overcome it. Mental ones especially, right? Or probably, well, just as much, physical ones as well. But you see yourself fail over and over, and you start to get convinced, oh, I just can't do it. I don't know how to do it. I don't think I can do it. And so you give up. Or it makes it easier to fail because you've witnessed yourself fail so many times and get away with it, and you're still alive. So you just, what's one more, and so you get into that mindset. But when you are able to conquer another area, your brain experiences that, interprets as, oh, I can have self-control. I can give things up. And that goes back into your addictions and reignites the flame there to say, yes, I can do this. I can get over this mental addiction. So that would be my main help in there. The other one is this: positive mental support. And that is essentially, be thankful. If you have a mind of gratitude, where you're thankful about things in life, and I know that's hard, it's very broad, again, doesn't necessarily attack the problem, but being thankful gives you, and being thankful for the things you don't have control over in life, right? So it's like, I've been gifted so many things. I don't have full control even in just how much food I have. I'm thankful, right? Being thankful for the things you don't have control over in your life helps you take more control over the things you do have control over. Because when you are thankful for the things you don't have control over, you start to let them go so that your mind can focus on the things you actually do have control over. I know it seems a little strange and a little bit weird, but they're related. So in life, you have a lot of things you can't control. And your mind is using its energy on that. It's, flustered about it. It's whatever, right? It's just annoyed by it or whatever it is. You can't control those things. You're taking up extra mental energy and you see yourself failing something you can't even do. You're like, I can't fix that and I don't like it. Just like you don't like your addiction, you can't fix that. It's how you feel. You're going to feel the same way about your addiction. And so if you can be thankful about the things that you can't control and stop focusing on the things you can't control, it helps your mind refocus in on the things you can control. And that would be your addiction. Your addiction falls under things you can control because you can choose to take actions. You can choose to not take actions, right? And so you're basically freeing up mental space, freeing up mental energy when you are thankful for the things in life that you can't control. And by freeing up mental space and freeing up mental energy, it gives you the extra boost and control over the things that you want to give up or want to change. And it's really weird that it works that way, but I promise you, if you can find time in your day to look for things that you're thankful for, even if it's like, I'm thankful for the times that my addiction hasn't hit me hard. I had no control over it. It just happened that day. It was just not on my mind. I'm thankful for that.
Mm-hmm.
It helps your brain separate out and free up mental space and energy, the things which you can't control and the things which you can control. And it makes the things you can't control lightweight because you're thankful and you have a thankful spirit about them and you're just letting them go. So that allows you to focus in and pinpoint the things you can control, which are your addictions, and supply a positive energy to those rather than a negative energy going, I always fail this, blah, 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 blah. No, if you can apply positive energy to those, you're going to succeed a lot more, just like anything in life, because you're trying to move forward with them, right? And so if you have a positive thinking, positive oriented mind towards your addictions, you're going to have a far better chance than if you think you can't even do it in the first place. So both of my suggestions are ultimately taking care of your mental space and showing your brain examples and giving of how you can succeed, and also giving your brain the environment to succeed. All of that's great. And so that's what mine is touching on. And it's basically just fast on something unrelated that you can do, and then be thankful for the things that are out of your control. Have a thankful mind towards things that you can't contribute your strengths to. Because if you try to be thankful for the things you attribute your strengths to, it doesn't help you overcome addictions. And the reason for that is you become, two things. One, it's not very humbling. And when you're prideful of yourself, you're a lot easier to fall than otherwise, So that's one thing. But then the other thing is, if you thank yourself or you're proud of yourself for overcoming things, the only thing holding you back from failing again is something that, it's like, when I fail again, I'll feel upset, but I can't account that. It's like, first of all, I guess, second of all, it's self-destructive, because then when you do fail, it hurts extra hard when it doesn't need to. And that's like puts you in a spiral. But then also it's putting you in the frame of mind that if you're thankful for the things that you can control, which is okay to be thankful for, you can be thankful for yourself. But in this case, it doesn't help with addiction, because it, how do I put this? It puts you in a position where everything is up to you and you think you're the boss of you, when in reality your addictions a lot of times are the boss of you. And you're putting things in the wrong order in your head. Because in order to conquer addiction, yes, it requires self-control, but it also requires you to understand that the addiction is what you're a slave to. And if you've got confidence in yourself that you can overcome it, but you think that you're in control of you the whole time, you're lying to yourself. And you're putting blame on yourself in areas where you can't. Because you're not.
I'm really good at lying.
Yeah, we're all really good at lying to ourselves. And you can't overcome an addiction if you don't recognize what an addiction is. And so it's important to, yes, it's important to be thankful that you can do things, and it's important to be thankful for yourself. But putting all that stress on yourself is not going to help with your addiction. It's important to be confident and important to try and so on and so forth. But my whole point of saying all this is not to belittle you, but to help you recognize the reality that an addiction, you are a slave to it. And that's why you need to escape. So if you are thankful for yourself and going, yeah, I accomplished that today, thank me, you're setting yourself up for failure, unfortunately. And that's weird, but you should be proud of yourself. You should be happy, absolutely. But you don't want to think that you are the god of your addictions. Because the reality is you're a slave to your addictions and you need to free yourself of them. And that's just a slightly different mental process. And if you are thankful to yourself, you'll make yourself prideful, and then that pride will destroy you. I hope that makes sense. I know that's a really weird brain stuff that I just navigated. It's hard to explain. I'm not very good at explaining it, but I hope it made sense.
Well,
Anyways,
it makes
yeah.
a lot of sense in my mind. And, like if I had been armed with what you just explained when I was going through overcoming other addictions in my life, I think that would have set a really, really good foundation for, for being able to conquer these addictions. Because what you're saying is spot on. What are you doing in those instances? You're talking about fasting, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's simply self-denial. Like you're denying yourself something, it's simply being able to tell yourself no, to be able to say no to something,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so what it's doing is you're showing that you're free from that, and it's showing self-control. And every time you do that, you build it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can build it in other areas, and it affects every area of your life. So no matter what area you might be building this self-control in, it will attach itself to you and can work in all these other areas, and it will strengthen you for when you're trying to overcome the addictions, because that self-control will be at play. And I think that's really great. And then the other thing about, being thankful for the things that you are not in control of, to me, that was genius. Because I'm like, holy cow, most of the time we sit there and we're getting all upset because we have no control over something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
So it's kind of like counterintuitive in a way, but it's so freeing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we can remind ourselves, hey, I have no control over it, then why am I so upset about it? I can't do anything about it. I can't control it. It is what it is. And so, well, I guess I don't have to worry about trying to fix it because I have no control over it, right?
And it's a lot easier to
So-
free yourself from the slavery of an addiction when you can also free yourself of the other things in your life. It's like I'm trying to unchain my arms, but my legs are also chained. If I can just unchain my legs, even though it feels like, maybe those are different limbs. You're trying to break free. Just break free from one thing. It's going to be a lot easier to break free from the rest.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Especially if you're an orangutan.
That's Is anyone
Because
here an
their feet
orangutan?
can actually, don't their feet have thumbs?
Oh, right. Yeah, they do. They do. Mm-hmm.
So they can actually do something with their
Oh,
feet.
yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Like they can peel a banana with their feet. Like I
Yeah.
can't do that.
I think they're
So like if
ambidextrous.
I'm chained with my hands and my feet, I'd probably want to free my hands first because
Sure.
I'd be more likely to be able to free my feet with my hands than to free my hands with my feet.
Okay, Joe. Yeah. Fair enough.
But no, I love what you were saying because it opened up a whole bunch of stuff to me. It's like, okay, I have no control over this. Thank you that I don't have to be all upset about fixing the issue because I don't have any control over it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That is mental freedom right there. That like blew my mind how freeing that can be mentally.
Mm.
When you're not all uptight and all upset about the things that we have no control over. Oh my gosh, like I used to talk about this stuff and like we forget these things, right? And we got to
Oh,
be
yeah, of course.
reminded of the
Always.
stuff,
Always got to be reminded.
you know? And it's like, holy cow, I don't have any control over that situation. I don't have any control over the situation that is presenting itself. So since I don't have to fix it because I have no control, there's nothing I can do. I don't have to worry about it. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you that I can take that off my plate. I don't
Right.
have to worry about that.
Absolutely.
But that and, building your own ability to have self-control, that so huge, so huge. Because that's in essence what an addiction is. It's overcoming something where we have lost our self-control,
Right.
right? So anytime we start to exert just a little bit of self-control in any area at all, it strengthens us to have more self-control in every area.
Mm-hmm.
And then before you know it, you can stare down the face of this addiction and you can be like, I think I can do this. I think I can master this. I think I can get past this and conquer it because I've developed self-control in these other areas. And this is just taking this and putting it into this other thing here, right? Taking the same principle and you built that strength in yourself. I think that's brilliant. Because so many times when we're faced with an addiction, we're just in it and we're like, oh my gosh, I can't get out. Like, there's no way I'm getting out of this.
Yeah, and you just
There's no way.
witness
I
yourself
can't.
fail over and over, and you blame it on yourself
Mhm.
because that's accurate, and you're just like,
Yep.
well, you don't have any
Yep.
experience
Because
of winning.
yeah. A week ago today, I received very, very similar advice from a priest in the confessional
Hmm.
about small moments of self-denial in order to strengthen yourself for larger moments of self-denial. When you can learn to say, no, I don't need that thing, whatever it is, you can start to say no to the things that really matter the most. Say no to the big sinful issues, right? So like if you can start to say no to, you know what, I really feel like watching TV right now, but you know what, I'm not going to do it. I just told myself no. That's self-control. I really, really want a cup of coffee, but instead I'll have some water. Or I really, really, really want a donut. Instead, I'll have a protein shake or something, whatever it is. Like, and all those little moments of self-control, all those little moments of self-denial
Mm-hmm.
can. So.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Ronia, there is no Discord group for Don't Worry Wednesday right now.
Yeah, there's technically one that's many years old, but it's like I don't even know if it's appropriate to send people there. I have no idea who's on it, who
Yeah,
runs it.
we don't have a Don't Worry Wednesday
Yeah.
Discord
Sorry,
group,
Yozo, you're right.
unfortunately.
This is a long one, and I was just about to shut it down, but I wanted to let that topic end appropriately. And I think that, yeah, hopefully we did it justice. I'm looking forward to a book that Joe might write about this. That'd be awesome. And then we'd have something be like, this episode is sponsored by Black Static and Swerve. Check out their book they got on addictions. That's right. Okay, anyways. But this episode in particular is sponsored by instead Black Static and Swerve. Hey, check out our merch.
Mm-hmm.
You can order.
Yeah, it's right
one
behind
or
it.
this one. Yeah, those are great. Or a plethora of other things. If you want them. That book is filled with wisdom.
I have this.
From one of the people here, or both.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's actually both of us put our
can even
effort
see,
into that.
and it's so glossy, you can see my ring light.
Whoa!
Look at
Dang!
Look at that.
Eye gloss.
And I got another lamp right there, and I got another lamp right there.
Oh man!
And now
that's
see
the
the
screen.
reflection of this stream right there. Sorry.
Perfect. All right. Yes, there is a Static P Discord. Feel free to link that in the chat. Anybody? Wait, actually, I don't think you can. Unless there's a moderator. I don't even know how to grab that.
Grab the Static P Discord. Oh wait. Wait. I think I know. Wait.
You got it?
Where's the thing?
Oh.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Somewhere. Got it. Oh. No.
Oh.
Wait. Nope. Nope.
All right, I'll go ahead and do it.
Wait. Oh, here we go. See if this works.
Oh man, click on that. Nice job, Joe. Nice.
That's it, man.
Awesome.
That's the deal.
Boom. First try. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for Don't Worry Wednesday, for being here and staying late and dealing with our technical issues, starting a little bit late, and yeah, just the show in general. We love the show. We love having you guys here. You guys make our day, and it's been such a great time. We hope to see you again next week, where we'll be talking about fish and smoked onions. No, okay, that's not true. I cannot promise those things. We will not be talking about those things. Find out what we'll be talking about
we might
next Don't Worry Wednesday. And we might. Just no promises on that one. We might.
I promise we can't promise you.
Yes, that's the only promise I can make. Wow. All right. Well, thank you guys. We love you. Thanks for dealing with our technical issues and our weird audios, but you guys have been awesome, and we appreciate you. Bye now.
Yes.
Love
you
all.
guys.
Peace.